An unmanned rocket has exploded on a launch pad during a routine test firing in Florida. The Falcon 9 rocket was supposed to be lifting off from Cape Canaveral on Saturday. The blast shook buildings several miles away and sent plumes of thick black smoke into the air. Luckily, though, no one was injured. Space expert Sarah Cruddas is here now. And Sarah, you've just heard that there might be a reason for this.
Well, SpaceX have just released the latest statement about the cause of that. So the rocket wasn't actually launching today. It was doing what's known as a static test, and that's where you fire the rocket fuel for a little tiny bit to check everything's working. Obviously, something went wrong, but what they now think has happened is the explosion happened before we actually did the test. So it looks like as they were filling the top of the rocket with fuel, that's when it exploded from the top. And there's been some new images just released as well. And that caused a huge explosion, which is obviously going to have massive setbacks to SpaceX in the future.
Of course, it's a good thing that no one was injured. There's a reason why they do tests, and these are the reasons why, as we can see. But it was carrying a fairly important payload.
Well, yeah, it's going to be carrying its heaviest payload to date, so a 5.5-ton satellite, which was operated by an Israeli company, and it was actually going to be leased out to Facebook, who are using it to provide internet to the developing world. So this is part of a new project with Facebook to actually connect the world and provide internet across the world using space science and technology. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And what we're also going to see as well is a pushing back of other missions that should have happened with SpaceX.
Yeah, so SpaceX, the organisers of this, if you like, were planning to put people on a Falcon 9 rocket at some point.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is the type of rocket that you may have seen those images of the rocket landing back, so going into space and then landing back on Earth. That's the same type of rocket which they're reusing, and they're planning to actually send NASA astronauts on this, well, were planning as soon as August 2017, so within the next year. And they're also planning later on this year to actually send up a reused rocket, so one which had been launched, landed on the barge in the ocean, as we've seen quite a few times now, and then refix it and send it up. So that's going to put that schedule back.
So this is a pretty big setback then for space exploration.
It is a big setback for SpaceX, but as always, will come through. I think it's important to remember, I mean, 89 years ago, Charles Lindbergh became the first person to fly solo across the Atlantic, and now we take it for granted. We're in the same period now in terms of space exploration as we were with aviation back then. There are going to be setbacks, but we're pushing forward to something bigger, and we're going to see huge things to come from SpaceX in the future.
Certainly puts it in perspective. Sarah, many thanks.
Thank you.